What is up, Shaqville, North Carolina? The only active competitive scene for Shaq Fu in the world. My name is Ben. I am a top-ranked Shaq Fu player and the host of Shaqville, North Carolina, our tournaments. And we're headed into the Spring Cup, the second of our quarterly championship series, which are where names are etched in the history, the big tournaments that matter more. And so I kind of wanted to do a little video breaking down some of the top storylines heading in to the Spring Cup to just set the stage for some awesome tournaments matches that we're going to see here in the next 2 weeks. So this graphic here is kind of the state of Shaq Fu. We have what I like to call the Trinity of Shaq Fu, which is myself on the left, Josh in the middle, TJ on the right. We're the top three players in Shaq Fu. And outside of us, no one has ever won a tournament. It very much so resembles the era of the Five Gods in Super Smash Bros. Melee, where there were five dominant players for several years that if one of them was in attendance, well, they won the tournament. But you may notice there's a person in the far right of the screen. That is Jeff. He's holding a trophy and kind of chasing after us. That's because not at the most recent tournament, but the one before that, Jeff became the first player outside of the Trinity to win a tournament. So that's a pretty big deal. And so I think when you're looking at who has a chance to really compete for the Spring Cup, these are the four that I think are worth discussing. I'll probably talk briefly and quickly about the other contenders at the end of the video, but I wanted to break down the big dogs and set the stage. So let's break it down. This little graphic here, the Spring of Supremacy, breaks down all four players. And I'm going to start with Josh, who is our current rank 1 player in the world. He's right there in the middle, 3 tournament victories and 1 cup victory. Now, you may think, hey, he has less tournament wins than TJ and Ben. How is he the rank 1 player in the world? And we really judge the rank 1 player as a current thing. So if you were arguing who's the GOAT, like who's the greatest of all time, maybe Ben and TJ would have bigger cases. I'm Ben, obviously, but I'm going to refer to myself in the third person sometimes. So Ben I have the most tournament victories ever, and with more characters than Josh. And TJ has won 4 tournaments with 4 different characters, right? Those are big things. But in the calendar year of 2026, Josh has won 2 tournaments and a cup, which is just very dominant. In comparison, TJ's only won 1 tournament, and I've won 2 tournaments. So Josh is currently the best player in the world, and the cups matter more. They have more weight, and he won our Winter Cup, the first of this championship series. So he's obviously positioned himself in a really good place. And if he wins the Spring Cup, I think he would really distance himself from me, who I think I'm the closest to having a case for the top player in the world currently. And I think if he wins his second cup, he would really put distance between himself and I. And it would take a lot. It would take, probably several tournament wins and a cup victory to really contest that. So he has the opportunity here to really cement himself going forward as the rank 1 player currently, and make a better case for the greatest player of all time within Shaq Fu. You will notice that he only plays 1 character, which is Beast. Beast is like by far and away the best character in the game. And, really it's on myself, it's on TJ, it's on Jeff to challenge Josh in this character that seemingly is unbeatable at the moment. And so Josh is definitely the guy to beat going into the tournament. I think it's interesting to note that ever since the Winter Cup, myself, Josh, and TJ all agreed to play secondaries from the Winter Cup to the Spring Cup, partly to try to give other people a chance to win tournaments, but also to not just play the same characters. And in that time, TJ and I both won a tournament, and Josh, playing Raja, was unable to win a tournament the entire time. So I do think he's a little bit of a one-trick pony with Beast, but it is the best pony in the game, and he's the best at riding that pony. So when everyone's sweating, trying super hard, can any of us actually beat his Beast? And it'll be interesting to watch. I think it's going to be a hard obstacle for anyone to combat. So he's definitely the big dog of this tournament. All right, moving on from Josh, let's talk about me. Ben, I am the current rank 2 player in the world, former rank 1 player in the world. I have the most tournament victories in Shaq Fu history. Now, tournaments, I think, vary in their significance, right? For example, I won the most recent tournament with Shaq, which Shaq is the worst character in the game, so it was an impressive victory by that metric. But as I mentioned under Josh's section, TJ, and I have been playing secondaries since the Winter Cup, so they were also playing secondaries. Jeff was not in attendance at the most recent tournament. Neither was Corey, who's like a consistent contender. So even though it was a 7-person tournament and I won with Shaq, there were some big notable people not in the way, which is again why the cups matter more, because every tournament, there are some very impressive tournament wins, but there's also some cupcake ones. And not to discredit myself fully, because I did win with Shaq, but that's kind of an example of a cupcake tournament. So yeah, I think that I'm the only player other than Josh to win when me, Josh, TJ have all played our main characters this year in 2026. Other than that, Josh has been the only one to win. So I really feel like going into the Spring Cup, it's Josh's tournament to win, and if anyone's going to contest him, it's me. And I think if I win this cup, I really think I kind of snatched the crown back from Josh as the rank 1 player, because we would be tied on tournament wins this year and cup wins this year. But then my back catalog of extra tournament victories and more characters and things, I think would tilt that scale back in my favor, where you'd have to give me the edge and put me the rank 1 player currently, as well as the best of all time. So I think the stakes are really high, because as I mentioned, if Josh wins, I think he does distance himself from me as far as current ranking, and makes a case for himself to be the greatest of all time, with the only player to win cups and to win back-to-back cups. So I think the stakes are incredibly high between me and Josh heading into this tournament. We like to brag and talk shit a lot, so he's definitely been letting me hear it now that I'm not the rank 1 player currently. So I would really love to snatch that crown back. I have some ideas, but Beast is a beast, and Josh is the best Beast player we've ever seen. So it's going to take a lot of ingenuity. But now I want to get to TJ, because I think TJ is such an interesting character in the world of Shaq Fu. He's the final member of the Trinity, but I do think he's the weakest member of the Trinity as far as his standing. You may say, how's that possible? He has 4 tournament wins. Well, I did mention tournament wins kind of vary in their significance, right? TJ's first win was the first tournament ever, and he played with Lietzu, who was kind of a scrub killer and already had there was already a game plan out there due to the CEO tournament from 2018. TJ had labbed the game a little bit with me before we hosted the first tournament, so he knew what to do with Lietzu, and he just kind of cooked everybody. And so that was also a 6-person tournament. TJ has won tournaments with Voodoo, for example, where we weren't playing our mains. Josh and I were not playing our mains. And I think most importantly, I think, is that TJ is the only one to lose while playing their mains to someone outside of the Trinity. Jeff has a 4-0 record against TJ. TJ's never beaten Jeff. The tournaments he's won, he has not come into contact with Jeff. Jeff left town for a couple months. And so that's when TJ really etched his tournament victories. And I had a long period where I was playing Shaq just for fun too. And a lot of his victories come during that era. So TJ just doesn't have as impressive tournament wins, even though he has the most variety of characters that he's won with, which is very impressive. He's shown a lot of versatility to play a lot of different characters at a high level and consistently contend and be in top 3s and finals and things. But I don't think he has that real stamp of validation, especially being the only one in the Trinity to, be getting absolutely mopped by Jeff. And so I think this cup victory would really just establish TJ so firmly as a member of the top 3, because people have been talking about if Jeff deserves the rank 3 spot. And I don't think that's true, because I think we have to count tournament wins as for something, right? They do have weight. So we can't have so much recency bias. But if TJ has a weak showing here and Jeff has a strong showing, that those voices become louder. But if TJ wins the Spring Cup, I think, he silences all the critics and becomes the second player ever to win a cup, which would be huge. So lastly, I want to move to Jeff. I've touched on him a little bit here. But yeah, he's the only member outside of the Trinity that I really give a big shot at winning the Spring Cup. Now, that would be Jeff's second win of the year, 1 tournament win and a cup. And Jeff has has been rumored to be leaving Shackville entirely, moving to the West Coast in June. And so this would essentially be him winning a tournament and then winning a cup and then leaving town forever. And he would just really cement himself as a legend in Shaq Fu history. He's the only player that actually has a move named after him, the Flying Jeff kick. So he's already left his imprint on the game and the meta, but I think it would be a way, to really immortalize him in Shaq Fu history, which would be fucking awesome. So I definitely would love to see a Jeff run, and TJ versus Jeff is going to be super exciting. So I have a couple. All right, I don't have a fancy graphic for this next section, but these are our current top 7. And I think these are debatable rankings down here. I do the rankings myself, so, it's debatable. And I really think anyone below Pete is not really worth ranking, with one exception, so I'm going to bring them up. Corey has had a couple really dominant, or not dominant, but deep runs in bracket. He very recently, when TJ was playing Voodoo, came out of losers to reset the bracket in finals against TJ, but wasn't able to close the deal. So that was a very impressive run by Corey. And so I think any Shaq Fu tournament, Corey is able to go on a run and challenge the best in the game, but he's never been able to get over that hump. Same thing kind of goes for Kevin. Kevin's made 2 finals runs with Lietzu, where he just ends up getting stifled. Unfortunately, Jeff is a better Lietzu player, and the other Lietzus have just not been able to close the deal. I think they're a little too reliant on, the classic tricks of Lietzu, like poke, 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 teleport, poke, poke, poke. And so it makes them very predictable, which again is why we have the Flying Jeff kick, because it is part of his formula is he mixes up the Lietzu kit a little bit more than the other ones. But Kevin, again, is a very competent Lietzu, so Lietzu can catch anyone lacking any day. So he's definitely, capable of going on a run. And lastly, Pete was also a Lietzu player for a long time, started having some success with Set, but kind of when he starts losing, always switches back to Lietzu, and just hasn't gone on quite as deep of runs as of late as Kevin and Gory. But, I think he's a competent player. I don't really foresee any of these 3 winning the Spring Cup. I think it would be shocking when all 4 of these people are in attendance and trying with their main characters to see one of these 3 make it to finals. But, they're capable players, and it's possible. The only other player I want to bring up is actually a new player from the most recent tournament we had named Isaac. I don't have a graphic or anything for him, but he is a fighting game savant. He plays Guilty Gear and Smash, and he actually downloaded the emulator before his first tournament. And I think me and Josh are the only players that actually have the emulator downloaded still after, months and months of Shaq Fu play. And he showed up to the tournament being able to hit special moves and things with consistency that a lot of our longtime players can't do. And obviously Shaq Fu is infamously known for how hard it is to hit the special moves. So he only went 1-2 in his first tournament, but if anyone was going to make some noise that isn't one of these 7, I think Isaac is the man to look out for. He messaged me about what emulator to download after the tournament, so I know he's practicing. And genuinely, most people aren't practicing Shaq Fu at all, including myself. And so if you put any work into it, you can, you put 5 hours in the Shaq Fu and you're probably a top 3 player in the world, So I really think he could go on a run depending on how much time he puts in and really take a lot of people by surprise. So it'd be really exciting to see some new blood injected into the Shaq Fu scene. So those are our storylines heading in to the Spring Cup. I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys are too. And well, maybe if you guys like these, I'll do updates before every cup about the state of Shaq Fu. So thank you guys, and I'll see you all at the tournament or in the YouTube comments or whatever. So Shaq Fu forever, Shackville, North Carolina. Put some respect on our name, baby.